Hey, Tony Gaskin here, popping in for another episode of Talks with Tony. Now, I'm still trying to figure out a schedule for this, and I don't know if I should do every day at the same time when my schedule allows, or just get it up when I can get it up. So y'all bear with me. Still trying to, work this YouTube into my daily, life and family life, and so it just kind of all over the place sometimes. Now we're moving right along here. Got a question, and y'all have to forgive me because I can't carry these letters with me. So I read them, and then I may have answered it like I did this here recently, and I answered a question again because some people send it in over and over, thinking that I'll get to it faster. So y'all have to forgive me if I catch a letter halfway through that I've already read. And a lot of them probably will sound similar anyways, with just, different minor details. This one said, "Hey Tony, my name is," she got her name there. "I am a part of your blessed tribe. I watch your videos daily. And I would like your opinion on my situation. Last year I started my freshman year in college. I will admit I was a little bit of a loose booty at that point in my life. So a month in at college, I met this guy who was a teacher assistant on campus, also a grad student. We had only slept together twice. I just wanted someone to have with and for companionship. I never wanted to date him. We were both dating other people while we were sleeping together, and we both told each other that. A month later, I found out I was pregnant. I told him, and he was angry and told me to get a, remember that means go to the clinic, to get a, he was yelling at me about how he would lose his job and it would ruin his life. He said he would want a paternity when the baby is born, which I agreed to. 2 days after I told him, he blocked my number. I dropped out of college and went back home because I was so stressed. We rarely talked throughout my pregnancy. I didn't see him and he ignored me and changed his number. He told he could go back to his country. He told me he could go back to his country. He is from Africa. I had to make an Instagram account and find his social media to contact him. When I had my baby and sent him pictures, he blocked me, then called me from a no-caller ID number and told me he wasn't going to do nothing and wasn't going to take a paternity test and to leave him alone. He cursing at me, calling me young and telling me this was my fault and that I should have asked for a plan B. I was on the pill at the time. I hung up and didn't answer, and then he started calling me and texting me asking to do the test. I had my father talk, oh no, there ain't no parentheses. I had my father talk to him, and my child's father said he would do the test in a month because he didn't have the money and need help from his frat brother, which I don't believe because he was about to give me $550 for a abortion in a week. Said the word. I'm like, they're trying to write it out and then still say the word. I try to keep them, kind of words out my videos. Now, y'all forgive me. Then when the time came for the test, my dad called and told him I was filing with the court. And he said he would just wait till then. I called him and asked him if he really wanted to go to court. And he said, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. And that he still was not doing nothing for his child. I didn't tell him I was filing child support, and when we both got our letters in the mail, I started getting calls from a no-caller ID number. I ignored it and changed my number. Do you think he would want to be in his child's life? I don't want him. I'm willing to co-parent, and he would say things like maybe in a couple years when I get my life together. So at this point, I don't know what to expect. I haven't seen him since I told him I was pregnant, and child support cases take forever, especially with the 19 going around. I haven't been in contact with him since my child was a month, and now he is almost 5 months now. My dad said men usually do not step up for their child right away for situations like mine, but I feel as though he's not going to do nothing no way. I'm cool with him not being in his child's life because I got support from my parents and family, and I don't want to deal with him now that I see he is a difficult person. What do you think? Thank you. Whew. Well, y'all really be going through it now. And the title of this is Baby from Casual. Now, see, the greater lesson is she's already, lived her lesson. She's already made her mistakes and got her lesson from it. But the greater lesson is for those of you who have not got to this place. And that's what I want these letters to be about, because I'm not really responding to the person, because the letter is so old by the time I can get to them that they've already kind of had to do something. Now, this one will go on forever, but the greater lesson is every single person who watches this video and you think that getting on your back is casual. And I told you in another video that there is nothing casual about that. There's nothing casual about it, because when you get up, if you don't get up with a baby on the way, then you at least getting up with a toxic tie, with this emotional bond that's gonna pull from you, and that's gonna plague you, and it's gonna chase you and haunt you, and you're gonna remember that feeling, you're gonna remember that experience, you're gonna remember the thoughts. And you could get up with anything. It could be a baby, it could be a STD, or it could just be this spiritually transmitted disease, not just sexually. And so you have to realize, and just like she said, she was being a loose booty. And here's the other thing now. She was loose booty in college and got a daddy. So that's a lesson for all the dads, that you got to really, really get in there with your daughter and really talk to your daughter. And she got a picture here, I can see her, and really make sure that you really all the way in her life, and that you really talking to her and really giving her the game, because she's sounding like, and she said, I just was looking for somebody to sleep with. So it's like, where does that need come from? Where does that urge come from? Like, did something happen as a youth that opened that door and you just had to have that feeling? So to the young lady who wrote in, for one, you need to do therapy just to identify where you was operating from, and just to see what the breakdown was in your life and what led you to that point, and go through that therapy and really get to the root of it. Because if you don't, you'll end up, when this baby is of age and you back out there again, you'll end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you'll end up like a lot of women today, with multiple children from multiple men. And it does not mean that all of those women are loose, or that they're, promiscuous, so to speak, to where they just hopping on different men. But it's just where you're operating from with a lack of knowledge, and you're going out there and you want love. And so you think that love means giving your body. And like you said, I just wanted someone to have with for companionship. I never wanted to date him. And that right there, that sentence is so packed. That's so packed right there. That sentence really could be on a billboard for our society, for this whole generation right now. I just wanted to have sex with someone to have that with, and for companionship. I never wanted to date him. And this is what, to be honest with you, this is what 30 to 50% of our children are being born from. This right here. 30 to 50% of our children today are being born from this. So how do you think that child will feel when that child comes of age, or what type of raising will be done? Now, you could get in this situation and it can grow you and it can mature you, and you could be an amazing parent. But for every one amazing parent that grows and matures when the child was conceived in quote unquote casual sex, for every one person that matures and becomes a great parent, there's another 10 that child was neglected and overlooked and mistreated and not taken care of, because the child was not planned. The child was not wanted. Now, there's something deep here that you're going to discover. You already probably know it, but you'll have confirmation in your therapy session. And then when you get that healing, then you could get on mymentor.life and start having your coaching sessions, and you can couple them, or you can, alternate, or you can graduate from one and then experience the other, to where you could turn that pain into purpose. And with your life coach, you can write a book, you can start a foundation, you can start a blog, you can start a YouTube, you can find even one young lady in your neighborhood, in your area, to mentor and be a big sister to, so that she doesn't make the same choices you made. Because when you identify where you were operating from, when you really look at this thing, you're in college, a place of higher education where you are there to get an education, but you were operating from a place that had you looking for you a pole to get on. And when I say pole, I ain't talking about the script club, talking about you a man. You were looking for you a pole you could get on, and then got that pole put on you, and then that cost you your education. You dropped out of school due to the stress from the grown boy, because here he is, he's lost. Same generation as you. He lost just like you was lost. He confused just like you was confused. So now he laying down there. Now he's over here from Africa, which if he's not a citizen, he's on a student visa. He's supposed to be over here getting an education, and he over here plumbing, laying pipe, over here and working at the school. What you said he was at the school? He a teacher assistant on campus. Also a grad student. So he all the way about done. This man a grad student. He teaching the class, helping teach the class. Teacher assistant, they grade the papers and stuff. He teacher assistant, grad student. Then come over here. They back, his family back in Africa. They just clapping. They happy. Ooh, that's your baby. Your baby's gonna make it. And they so happy for him. They got that tripe over there for him, ready. And here he is over here plumbing. Next thing you know, he get you pregnant. Now and then he blame you. It's your fault. You young and dumb. It's your fault. Here go get this 550. And then came over here and joined a frat too. In the frat, then want his frat brother to bail him out. Y'all frat brothers, y'all supposed to be knowing the Greek alphabet. Y'all supposed to be around us out there on that yard, and y'all out here laying pipe to the younger folks. This is a freshman. Then here he is, a grad student out there plumbing on a freshman. And then you out there hopping around looking for some love, looking for some companionship. So it's the companionship. Now this not just the hooker. This what's hers is done. But all y'all young college freshmen, companionship is somebody you could go bowling with, somebody you could go skating with, somebody you could go to the movie with, somebody you could go to Taco Bell. Okay, Ariga Grande. Go up there to Taco Bell, get you an 89-cent bean burrito. That is companionship. Companionship is not in no bed, in no back seat of no car, unprotected, catching all this bacteria in your body, then conceiving a child, then canceling your education to go home and give birth, and then got the man, then got everything he got to offer, and now your child really is your saving grace. Your child was your saving grace, and that's another reason, because I don't know how these emails go in order like this, because this is the third email I done read that is dealing with a woman conceiving and going to the clinic, having to go to the clinic. The one woman was coerced by her man to go to the clinic. The next woman was told, and I'm telling y'all, I'm not organizing these. I'm going in order. That's what let me know God is the producer of this show. And I'm supposed to be doing this because the one lady, her man pushed her now back to the clinic. The next lady, she said, I'm going. I ain't giving him no choice. Ain't no way in the world I'm finna ruin my career. And then this young lady said, he telling her to go. And she like, no, I'm finna drop out on your behind as a freshman and go home and have this baby. I need this baby. And some women get to that point to where they feel like they need that baby. And now that baby become your companionship.
And so you got to go to therapy to get to the root. See, I'm just life coaching, which that's just common sense wisdom. It's just confirmation. We all know that kind of stuff. But you got to go and get to that root. And you know what the root is, maybe, but or maybe not. So in your sessions, it'll be a revelation or it'll be confirmation. And then after getting the revelation, once you agree with it and you can accept that, then you have confirmation. Then you can create a plan of action on how you're going to heal and grow and learn and move forward and turn those perceived losses into lessons. And this is what's going to help you. So you have to get to this place. But listen, as a warning sign to everybody else watching this, it's important to understand that there is nothing casual. It's nothing casual about lying down with somebody. Because when you get up, you're getting up different. See, casual don't change you. It's casual walk through the park. Casual is a walk through the park. Casual is, you see what I'm saying? Casual, this casual, what I'm doing. This casual, just sitting in the chair. Just give me a little spin in. I'm just on the casual, give me a little casual breeze from the AC. This casual. When you lie down and exchange bodily fluids with somebody that can disease you or that can impregnate you, that is not casual. That is serious business. And that's what we got to stop lying to ourselves. We got to stop playing ourselves, because this is where children are being birthed from. That ain't the way to bring a child into the world. And this right here done already happened, so I ain't talking to her. I'm talking to everybody who you right now finna go get on your bike tonight and get your spine reallocated right here tonight. You getting ready to go hop on you something. Or to the men who watching, getting ready to go do you some plumbing. I'm watching Tony. Yeah, I'm watching the video. You know, I watch the video, screenshot it, send it to my ex, make her think I'm growing. And I'm finna go in. You ready to go lay something down like our African brother over here? This man way over here from Africa. That is a 20-hour flight. Done brought it but 20 hours to get to his grad year to get the woman pregnant. That is not what them people, his family in Africa, sacrificed to send his butt over here for. And he over here grad assistant, praying on freshmen. And that's why both people got to take accountability. Yes, she around here looking for something to hop on, but then yes, he around here looking for somebody to hop on it. So it take two to tango. And then guess what? Boop! That's what y'all get. Now you got a child. But now you got to save face, and now you got to prepare yourself. Now you got to get in a position the way your child feel like your child was wanted. When your child get 13, you wrote me your child was 5 months. That was May. That was 6 months ago. So your child 11 months now. So your child 11 months, 13, your child gonna want to hear that story. And so now you got to be to frame this story to where, you know what the devil meant for evil, God turned it into good. That's gonna have to be the story you give your child. Like, listen, I wasn't necessarily planning you, but you came right on time. You actually saved my life. You saved me from catching this disease, that Z. You saved me from this. You was my saving grace. And yes, I ain't can see you the way Mary did, but I got you a little different, but you represented a blessing in my life. The lesson became the blessing. And so now you got to frame this story to share with your child. And now as far as the man being in the child life, you know, it's so many ways you could go with this here co-parenting. And there's so many opinions on it. And we actually have co-parenting coaches on mymentor.life. Now, my initial feeling on this thing is if a man wants to be there, or a woman, if this vice versa, if this story is the other way around, if a parent wants to be there, first, you only slept with the man 2 times. We had only slept together twice. So now number 2 is, do the baby look like him? And if you were sleeping with somebody else, whoever you sleeping with, do they look similar to him now? Because that paternity test might be in order if you was sleeping with more than one person. You said you was loose booted at the time, at that point in your life. So you need to identify now, is this truly his baby? I'm trying to look at you with my good eye. Is this truly his baby? Now, it look like you got locks in your house. Maybe that's just a bond. Maybe it's just a bond. But you got a ring on your wedding finger now. You done got married or got engaged, or you just wearing it for, just to keep guys away. But now, listen now, and that baby in that picture, baby like, what you doing? What is this in my face? Baby look surprised. Now listen now, you got a cute little baby. I just can't see you. So now do you know that this here is his baby now? And because you saying the paternity test and you want to go through with it, sound like you want to go through with it for him. And now he keep calling because that's gonna eat him up alive. That's gonna eat him alive. Because listen, you don't come from a whole nother continent. You don't come from a whole nother continent to come to America to get an education and not have a conscience. He got a conscience. Don't no savage go from a continent to another continent and get through 4 years of school, become a grad student without a conscience. He got a conscience. That's why he keep calling you. That's why he keep popping up. That's also why he talking to your daddy. If he was a savage, he wouldn't be talking to your daddy. He wouldn't be on that phone with your daddy. And then he mad with you and he blaming on you, but he know it's his fault. He know it's his fault because he knows it's his tool. He knows that third leg, that meat leg, belongs to him. He knows that he could wrap up. And you was on the pill. But he want to go in there raw dog. He made the decision to lie down, to get on you and go in there unprotected. So he taking it out on you. But he know it's his fault because he also know he's older than you. He also know that the way you come around here prancing and how quick he got on in that thing, he also know that you were lost and that you was hurting, that you confused, that you ain't know who you were. He know that as a grad student, and he played on that. He played on you being young, dumb, and full of wrong. Thought I was gonna say something else. Young, dumb, and full of wrong. So he know that, and so he played on that. Come on now. Give me that 2 times now. And listen, he was ready. Cause normally, around that age, men shooting dog water. He was dating other people, but we don't know what else he was doing with them other people. Cause he sounded like he was good and backed up for you. Just in there, just got that power. And now listen, and he from the motherland. That baby got some good genetics now. So me personally, I'll be putting that baby in something. Let that lesson be a blessing. That baby will be doing tennis, golf, track, everything. He from the motherland. That's them genes pure. Them genes unadulterated. You hear me? So listen, when you do something stupid and from a weak place, from a place of ignorance, you got to turn it over to the Lord and let God perfect it. Let it be perfected. Let that baby be cleansed. Let that baby be washed. Let that baby have a purpose. Like one Moses that was put in a basket. Somebody was put in a basket and sent down a river. You see what I'm saying? So for those of you who done already done it, it ain't the end of it. It ain't the end. Your life ain't over. Now invest. Invest in your mistake. and turn that mistake into a lesson, because your baby can't be a mistake. So your baby got to be a blessing. See, mistake, lesson, blessing. That's where you got to go with this here thing. That's where you got to go. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Now, to those of y'all who have not gone down this road yet, this your warning sign. This your warning sign. All right, you better zip it up. You better zip it up. Well, y'all around here wearing leggings. Need to be putting some jeans on. And then the men, that's why I say zip it up, because both of y'all need to have a zipper. Y'all need to stop wearing all these leggings, got everything hanging out around here, walking around, everything jiggling and bouncing. It's like, my goodness, like, you want to put on some clothes? That's not clothes. So now listen, everybody who have not come to this place right here, get a lesson from it. Get a lesson from it. Because with every choice, there's a consequence. With every choice. When I got my wife pregnant, I married my wife because I had to man up. And I made sure I'm in there. All that right there, I had to make sure this could be my wife. I was living in sin just like y'all was. But I had to man up. It's gonna be some consequence. You walking away with something. You walking away with something. You walking away with a spiritually transmitted disease, or you walking away with a sexually transmitted disease, or you walking away with a child. But you walking away with something. It ain't nothing casual about the act. So listen, you got to make a decision in your life. And the thing about it is, it ain't the end of the world. That ain't the end all be all. Like, we put too much emphasis on sleeping with somebody. That little bit of pleasure. That little bit of pleasure don't lead to happiness. Pleasure lead to pain. See, that little bit of pleasure. So when you in that bed with somebody, it has to be purposeful. It has to be purposeful, not just pleasurable. Because see, pleasure do not lead to happiness. It leads to pain. I learned that from Zig Ziglar when I got out the streets hustling and I was changing my life. I was listening to Zig Ziglar. He said that one day. I said, man, ooh, nah, hey, you hitting on something there now, doc. So now listen, this right here, take the lesson from it. Write it down. And on the co-parenting, be honest with you, these things, that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice. So it sounds like you kind of saying you want to treat him like a donor. It sounds like what I'm hearing in this here letter is that you had some deep-seated pain. That you had some deep-seated issues you was working through as a young lady. And a lot of people do this, but we can't normalize that, because that ain't normal, because it's a whole lot of men and women who don't sleep around their freshman year. I was out there like you. My freshman year. You hear me? Out there lost. I was lost. I was confused. I had not been affirmed. I hadn't connected with my purpose. I was lost. And that's the problem. We can't normalize that and say, oh, that's what everybody do in college. No, that's not what everybody do in college. My wife ain't do that. That's not what everybody do in college. That's what us who was lost and broken, busted, and disgusted mentally or emotionally or spiritually, that's what we did. But that ain't what everybody do. So we got to dig deep and we got to address that. We can't normalize that, because that's dangerous, because from this is coming STDs in children. And neither of the two are wanted at that time. And so then we have to learn to live with those consequences, the STDs or the children. We got to learn to live with it, and then we got to make the best of it, and then we got to try to give it purpose. But in that moment, when we in college or we at that age group, we're not asking for one of those two things typically. And so this right here, and now the fact that you okay with him just being a donor, sperm donor, and you want to live your life, and you saying he a difficult person, really all I done heard about difficult is just his calling schedule and just his failure to accept the reality of what may be the reality. We don't know for sure. you did not say in here, I know 100% this is his child because I actually was not sleeping with anybody else. You said that we were both dating other people while we were sleeping together, and we both told each other that. But for you, if you wasn't dating him and you were sleeping with him, I would assume that inside of your dating means sleeping together. So meaning that while you was dating other people, that you was also sleeping with other people, unless he just was the dang-a-lang in the jar, and the other guys you was playing classy with, having them court you and wasn't coming off nothing. But you didn't say, I know for a fact, it's his. But you said you found out you was pregnant, and you told him, and he was angry, and he was yelling at you and all of this. Now, maybe you saying just based off the time that boom, you hadn't gave him a little something, and then if you hadn't did something with somebody else right before you find out, or the week before, or 2 weeks before, that it had to be his. Maybe you doing a process of elimination, some deductive reasoning in here, but you didn't say in here that I know for a fact that it's his, so it's a waste of time doing this here paternity. So you sound like you going through with it, or you willing to go through with it. But then now you saying like, hey, if he don't want to be a part, and he can go on ahead, I got support from my parents and family. And yeah, you got that, but you got to ask yourself, what if you don't have that? What if that stops? Or what if, if something happened to them, or they would decide to go on about their business, like they're right here, go on about your business. And then that stopped. And then you got to ask yourself, what is your child going to say? So you got to really see where he's at on this. If he want to be there, if he want to be active, if he want to man up, if he want to have a paternity test and it come out to be his, and he want to be there, and he's going to be healthy, and he's going to be constructive, and he's going to be, an asset to the situation, then I would say yes, let him be there. But if he's coming to tear down and to break down and to destroy, and we don't know how much he got riding on this, situation with him coming from another continent, then I would say assess the situation, keep your distance, and make sure you and your child safe. But you got to assess the situation. And if it's something tugging on his heart and pulling on his heart, and he's feeling like less of a man because he got you pregnant and he's not being there for his child, then you got to give him that. You can't just say, oh no, the baby all mine, when you wouldn't have it without a man. So you can't just say, oh nope, it's all mine now. I don't want to deal with you calling every Wednesday or every other week. So no, you can't see your child at all. You can't do that, because this is a part of the consequences of lying down with a stranger. This is what come with it. So you can't make the choice and then try to avert the consequences. So a part of the consequences of having casual is conceiving and now having to co-parent with a stranger, having to co-parent with a difficult person. That's part of the consequences of the choice. And so you can't run from the consequences after you'd have made the choice. Like they say, you make your bed, you lay in it. So now it's not about your comfortability. It's not about what you like and what you don't like. It's not about the fact that you really don't care too much for him because he not sniffing booty, and that he not chasing you and begging you to be with you. It's not about that. Now it's about this here child. Now it's about the child having the other half of itself, because the father does matter and the father is needed. And if the father can be there, then you should let the father be there if he's going to be there constructively, and he's going to benefit the situation with his attitude and energy and what he's bringing to that child life. And so now if he going to put the child in harm's way, that's a total different story, and that's common sense. We all know that. But the lesson, especially for people in general, but more so for this generation, is stop making choices without considering the consequences. And stop making choices and then trying to run from the consequences. This right here, awkward co-parenting situation, is a part of the consequences. And by you having to navigate these muddy waters, this is what's going to drive this lesson home, so that you don't end up with baby number 2 and number 3 without it being decent and in order, planned and prepared for. Because if you don't let these consequences sting by working through the awkwardness of this and working through the difficulties of this situation, if you don't really get that lesson, then guess what? You are not going to make a better choice the next time. You'll end up the creek without your paddle again and going through the same thing all over again. So, hey, y'all, sit and dissect this, watch it back. Look at it in your life. Ask yourself right now, are you sleeping with somebody that you cannot marry, that you don't see as your spouse, your future spouse, if you sleeping with them outside of marriage? Ask yourself, on the other side, if you've had a child, are you keeping your child away from the other parent just because the other parent doesn't make you comfortable, or just because you don't like the other parent, but the other parent has done nothing wrong to the child, and that the other parent can benefit the child, but they just don't benefit you, so you just want to have a child to yourself because you don't want to work on your people skills and deal with the person that you chose to give your body to, that you could have gotten up with HIV from. And so you got to really ask these real questions and see where you at. And then if you happen to be somebody who you're not sleeping with anybody, let this be a reminder not to, until you know that this is your spouse. Let this be a reminder. Or you getting ready to sleep with somebody, let this right here be a reminder. And look, she was on the pill. And guess what? You could be on the pill and you could be in the rubber and still conceive, because that's just how the mop flop and the cookie crumble. So get the lessons, and then start to prepare for your blessings. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. And remember, the life coach certification is enrolling right now for aspiring life coaches. After you finish the certification, now the difference, what we're going to do is at the end of the month, the certification will close. And when it opens back up, the price will increase, because the price will continue to gradually increase until we get to the market value. It's 50% less than the market value, than the minimum market value. If you look at the real market value, then it's probably 80% less. So for the aspiring life coaches, make sure you go to TonyGaskinsAcademy.com. Link may be in the description. If not, it's TonyGaskinsAcademy.com. My mentor.life is for once you're certified, you can sign up to provide coaching to clients who come to book you. If you're not a coach, don't want to be a coach, but you're looking to hire a coach, then you can visit my mentor.life to hire a coach. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon.